everybody!
Hello, Wembley!
Welcome to this week's episode of the Sustainability Spiral. I'm your co-host, Kim.
And I'm Ella.
And today we're talking about Zac Polanski. I think the intro needs some work.
Should we do one more?
Yeah.
And then we'll get into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do 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 do
Do
do do do do do. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome to the Sustainability Spiral.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome
Another
back.
week, another episode. Thank you for people who have already listened and thought this was a good use of my time and have decided to listen again.
We appreciate the loyalty, guys.
We appreciate you.
For the 2-week loyalty streak. Let's make it 3.
Woohoo!
How are you, Ella? What's going on?
I'm good. I'm good.
How are you?
That's the real question. No, I'm feeling very, very positive in 2026 so far. That's not dimmed. I'm excited to see what the year brings. I think I'm really excited that we're doing this, and every time we get together and do the podcast, it just fills me with joy.
It is fun, isn't it?
I love it.
It is a good
so
time.
much. How are you?
I'm good. I've had 3 minor spirals today already.
Ooh, wow, bad day. Spirals down or spirals up?
Pretty much all down.
Okay.
First and foremost, I think we should just quickly say that this is our last week officially working together.
Oh, I know. I didn't know whether we should touch on it or not, but yeah, it's my last week in my current job,
Guys.
Which tomorrow is our final day together, and I can see tears in Kim's eyes already.
I'm not going to be well.
I know we're not going to be well.
I'm not going to be well.
I'm not going to. No.
I think I've obviously, have I come to terms with it? No, I think I've been ignoring it, really.
Me too, but I think this is going to get us through.
Yeah.
We are we're not going to be rid of each other anytime soon.
That's true.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy about, but
obviously, I'll save my proper speech for tomorrow. But oh my God.
Stop.
It's not going to go well.
It's not going to go well.
I'm just going to say one sentence.
Okay.
I've loved working with you. You're a great friend.
It's been a joy. It's been a pleasure.
It's been such a joy. And
can you believe it's been 3.5 years?
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
I know.
And it's gone so quickly.
I've literally loved working with you so much. But it's nice. I think sometimes it's nice not to work together anymore, because then you can go from proper friends at work but also colleagues to just being really good friends.
We're about to upgrade this relationship.
Yeah. Upgrade inbound.
Hell yeah.
That makes it sound like this is the pits.
No, I'm excited for our friendship to go outside the boundaries of the art. I mean, it already has, let's be honest, but officially.
I know.
It's always funny when I talk about you to people, which I do often. And I'm she's my colleague, but she's also my friend. And I'm I don't really know how to describe you. And I just be my friend Kim.
I just think that when you make a friend, a proper friend in the workplace, it's the only time where it's a bit like school again.
Yeah.
Because at school, that's a whole other conversation to have. But it was a good time going to school every day. All your whole friend group's there. You're hanging out with the crew 24/7.
Seeing the peeps.
And I feel that's what you get when you get a really good work friend.
100%.
So honestly, on Monday, I'm going to be walking around that office like a little lost puppy. I'm going to go get a tea and be this tea could be better if she was here. You know, when someone's goes through a breakup and they're oh, Ella made me a cup of tea once. Ella made me coffee once. But that's something I had a little spiral about today. But an upward spiral in the end, because I'm just excited for everything you're going to go on to do. And it's going to be so nice to embark on this journey together.
I know. I'm so glad that we have properly done this, because it will keep us bonded whether we want or not.
Bonded life. I love how we've made more work for ourselves to do so that we can remain working together.
Interesting.
Smart. Smart tactics.
We could just hang out. We could just go for dinner.
Yeah, that's true. But why?
But why?
To be fair, we'd probably talk about the same stuff that we're talking about.
It's so true. We should just put it on a podcast and try and
Monetize.
commercialize. Hell yeah. Sponsors, if you're listening, we are available.
Yeah, hit us up.
Okay, what were your other
My other two
little
spirals.
spirals?
The other spiral I had was woke up this morning. The first message on my family group WhatsApp was my dad sending me a picture of a clock that was like 85 seconds to midnight. No context.
Classic.
No, just a picture.
Just a picture of
like
a clock.
not a link to an article.
Just a picture.
So I'm like, hey, like, what is that clock?
What time is it? Summertime.
My sister's
No,
like,
it's
it's 8:45. Like, this clock is wrong. And then looked into the clock, and it was like the doomsday clock that like the scientific body do to be like seconds till doomsday. And it used to be 89 seconds. They've updated it to 85. I think it's basically symbolic of where we are globally. And obviously one of the like doomsday scenarios is like climatic disaster. So I had a little spiral about that, but then I thought, you know, like we know that.
We do. I was just having a quick look at who actually does the doomsday clock. And it's the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists. Interesting. But yeah, no, I feel like that is very spooky.
It was just a bit like cortisol inducing.
But then also is it just like are we just used to it now as well? We're just used to people being like the end is nigh, and everyone's like, is it? And then Donald Trump's like, there's actually a snowstorm in New York. I thought climate change was a thing, guys. Like, that's what he does to himself.
Yeah.
Like when he's alone.
I did have another one, but it slipped my mind. So that's
okay.
good.
We can pop it in later.
Maybe if I remember it, but if I can't remember it, that's also a good thing because I know it was a negative one. So I'm pretty happy that that's out of my brain.
Let's get that negative gone. And on that note, this is gonna, I think, be a positive episode, a positive upward spiral episode.
Yeah.
I think because last week we did get a bit like doom and gloom into the pits.
And we just don't need more of that.
No, we don't. I think like there will be more of that, don't get me wrong.
Set the expectations correctly.
Like I'm just saying, like, if you're here for like all good news all the time,
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I can't wait for the day when we record these and we have video and audio because it just, I think, will add to the experience.
What are we upward spiraling about today then?
Zac Polanski.
Zac Attack.
And the Greens, I think more broad. Like the whole trend of Zac.
Mm-hmm.
It's Zac's world and we're all hopefully going to live in it one day.
Sorry, Zac Polanski and the Greens would be like an amazing band
name. Oh my god, you're
they
so
should
right.
start a band.
The Green, yeah, they should.
Yeah.
That's such a good idea.
Zac Polanski and the Greens. That's great.
What do you think their genre would be? I think indie folk.
Yeah, or maybe like disco.
Ooh.
A little disco remix.
I love a bit of disco.
I guess like Zac Polanski and the Greens sounds a bit more bandy than like a DJ.
Yeah, this is why I think like something in the indie, something acoustic. I'm picturing guitars.
Yeah.
Acoustic guitars.
So we're going to be talking about Zac Polanski and the Green Party.
Hell yeah.
So when did you first hear about Zac Polanski? Do you remember the moment?
The moment. I think I was like drip fed content on Instagram.
Smart.
From the Greens, as I normally am.
The algorithm's doing its thing.
And I was like, this is interesting. And when I really became aware of him was we were either in the office, we were at an event and we were talking with our colleague who works in public affairs and she was talking about Zac Polanski who had just got in and I kind of remembered that they changed leadership in the Green Party, but I don't really follow it that closely.
Fine.
And it kind of like was in my subconscious and then the minute that I was like, aware of him. He was just all over my
Everywhere.
Instagram. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then we saw him speak at an event to the end of last year. And I was like, okay, I see it. I see it. Then it's just been an upwards trend from there. How about you?
So the first time I heard of Zac Polanski, I was a bit embarrassed that I didn't know who he was. Because at that point
Yeah.
I think he'd just been elected as the leader of the Green Party. So that must have been like October last year, maybe?
I mean, I hadn't heard of him before he became, like, I will be very
Yeah.
honest, like, it was not a name that I knew.
Yeah.
Not that I am, like, a very big knowledgeable base on the Green Party.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had no idea. A little bit later.
But we were at this like round table discussion, and a friend showed us a video of his like Instagram and the messaging, and I just like could not believe the messaging. I think like the first Instagram I saw, the reel that I saw that he did was the one where he was like standing on the Seven Sisters cliffs. And he was like, I was on this beach a couple of weeks ago with a member of the public who said that they wanted to get a gun out and like shoot everyone who was coming across in the boats.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, like I just think that sometimes the rhetoric around the boats is so negative and so just like stop the boats, but there's no like nuance to the conversation. And it's like he was the first person to almost like call a spade
Yeah.
publicly and be like, this is a narrative that is being pushed so that you don't look at everything else that's wrong with this country.
Yeah.
And like focus on this like issue.
No, I agree. And I think this is what's refreshing about him, right? Is he is talking about problems in a way that I think we've always wanted, or we've wanted for a long time,
Yeah.
that's like addressing that the world is a bit shit and there's lots of things going on, and that there's lots of things that are interconnected, but just having a kind of like no shit approach to
Yeah.
the far right.
Yeah.
And like we'll get onto it later, but I was listening to his trip episode just before we started recording this, just a little bit of a brain boost. And he was talking about how his approach with the far right is just to kind of be like, I'm gonna own the things you're gonna make fun of me about,
Yeah.
and then you can't touch me, and then you look stupid because you're like, why are you focusing on the shape of his teeth rather than like his actual politics? And I was like, love that.
I imagine it's how people probably feel on the far right looking at like stuff as well, where it's just a very different change in communication from a political party. So in a way, I'm kind of like sympathetic to that. Like it is refreshing to have a different and more honest communication style from a party leader. And like I'm just aware that there's like obviously a different side, even if I don't agree with what's coming out of like Nigel Farage's mouth, obviously. But I just think that this is like the refreshing narrative change that is needed on the left side of politics too, rather than a very sanitized like 2D party line communication style that like you can't actually get to the substance of what people are saying or understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
Whereas Zac Polanski, I think, just communicates in a really clear way in like how you would talk around a dinner table or how you would talk to your friends at the pub.
Yeah.
And just like actually answers questions.
Yes. And I think it feels like there is a lot of mistrust in politics, particularly obviously with what has, been the last few years, i.e. Liz Truss versus lettuce and Boris Johnson COVID, and like having 5 bajillion prime ministers in like 5 years. And I think people have just lost confidence and lost trust. And I think having someone that talks in a way that doesn't feel like a politician it is refreshing and it is helpful.
Yeah.
I wonder whether we should do a quick TLDR on Zac and on the Greens.
Yep.
And then we can delve into some of the stuff that we want to talk about. I guess, like, he is, as I said, the leader of the Green Party as of September 2025, I believe, after joining the Green Party in 2017. Originally, he was a Lib Dem.
U-turn.
And he got disenfranchised. It's refreshing to see someone like follow their principles and follow what they want above commitment to a party or like blind faith, which I think is really interesting.
Chasing status.
I also was diving into a deep hole of interviews and things that he's done, and was reading about his background in the arts, but also was a psychotherapist.
Oh. That's fun.
So he used to be a psychotherapist, which I thought was really interesting.
Oh, that's, like, probably quite good for, like, what he's doing now.
Yeah, and I also think,
Understanding
like,
the
being
psyche.
in drama and the arts as well, like the art of storytelling,
Yeah,
engaging people, understanding people, empathy, like, all of that is really important.
yeah,
Why are all our politicians, like, PPE graduates from Oxford? What
yeah,
social skills have they got? Probably not a
yeah.
lot.
Ye
And in terms of his political beliefs, he defines himself as an eco-populist
Ooh,
and
eco-pop.
eco-pop. And I found a quote, which we won't do this all the time, but I will read it out just so I get the definition correctly.
Okay.
Correctly?
Oh, make
So I get the definition correct. So, by eco-populism, he means go after billionaires, go after water companies, go after corporations. He means retake patriotism. We should love our country. Loving your community is loving your country. He means put the climate at the center of everything, but never forget that these will seem like abstract conversations to people who can't put food on the table. And that was from a Guardian article from 2025.
That's so interesting that he calls out patriotism
Mm,
and loving your country and loving your community, because I guess that's a lot of the messaging that we're seeing on the other side. So I'd really like that he's like centered it around that.
yeah.
So he describes himself as an eco-populist.
Interestingly, he's not an MP currently. So to be leader of the, I guess like we should talk about the Green Party
Yeah.
and what makes it different. So um they stand on a big platform of proportional representation. So it's one member, one vote. And as a party, every member has the right to like form their manifesto. The leader of the Green Party,
Mm.
unlike, you know, kind of leaders in the Labour Party, they don't necessarily set the direction for the party. That all comes from the members, which I think is really interesting. So he what's interesting, I think, about Zac Polanski's role and why he's been able to be so successful is that his job kind of it is to lead the party, but he's also a CEO.
Mm.
But it is really to like be a figurehead, be a comms piece, like share the message and like gain votes and bring people along.
Yeah.
And the party kind of works together more broadly to set strategy
Mm.
and to agree on a manifesto. It's not like, and I suppose all parties work like this to some extent, but there's a lot more of a focus on kind of the collective
Mm.
to do that rather than leader.
Yeah.
So I think maybe figurehead is a slightly harsh term, but he is
Yeah.
kind of a figurehead. He's a spokesperson.
And I think that's really helped them, like having one
Hmm.
person to look to as like the identity of the Greens. So I've got a snazzy little graph open in front of me, and it shows the Green Party membership over time. So from the year like 2003, it looks like is when they started. You know, we've got like a couple of thousands of members. A relatively big spike in like 2014, 2015, and then it's kind of like flatlined a bit. And then since Zac Polanski became the leader of the Green Party, there's just been like exponential growth in membership. This was in late October, and it said that the Green Party had gained 82,000 members in the past 55 days, coming as Zac Polanski became the leader. And I think that's only continued to grow. I think they've now overtaken the Conservative Party in terms of membership. So these trends are saying that the first party, the party first announced reaching the 100,000 member milestone in October 2025, which was an around 60% increase since Polanski became the leader. Then mid-October, that had grown to 125,000. In January this year, they estimated it to hit like 150,000. So some pretty big growth projections there, which I think is pretty much entirely down to, I don't know, like Zach being on the scene, Zach being the spokesperson. The social media is strong.
Going back to 2017, yes, when Jeremy Corbyn ran
Mm.
in a snap election,
Mm-hmm.
and like obviously Labour didn't win that snap election, but Jeremy Corbyn got a much bigger margin of the vote than had previously been gained in the election, and a big part of that was that he campaigned really actively towards young people,
Mm.
and it's such a forgotten. And by young people, I'm going to say people under the age of like about 30, 35,
Yeah.
like that whole cohort
Mm.
from 18-year-olds to like early professionals. And it's such a forgotten cohort of voters, and it's such a big group of people who
Mm.
often feel very disengaged in politics because it's not communicated with them through the avenues that
Yeah.
they want to receive it. And Jeremy Corbyn did a really good job of that, and I think that's what Zac Polanski is doing really well, almost in that vacuum that's there now.
Yeah.
Hit
Never
the ground
forget
running.
again, not to keep bringing up Glastonbury, which I've been to the last 3 years. Like Jeremy Corbyn was on stage at Glastonbury and like the crowd went nuts for him.
Icon. And like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. Should we talk about his op-ed?
Let's do it. So, the op-ed was titled Zac Polanski. You can fly, drive, eat meat, and still be green.
Do you know what? You just put Zack Polanski and the Greens, the band name, and then the song title, You Can Fly, Drive, Eat Meat, and Still Be Green. And you've got a hit.
Hit single.
You've got a hit.
Hit single. Zach, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are, hit us up.
Yeah.
Cracking. So, op-ed. Zac Polanski, you can fly, drive, eat meat, and still be green. In
The
Times. A couple of weeks ago, January 11th.
Mm-hmm.
It is a really interesting piece where he kind of details his thoughts, his kind of rise to leadership, what he wants to get out of it. And there's a couple of really interesting bits in it that I think we could pick out and chat about. So one part quite early on in the article is that he, and I guess this speaks to this eco-populism lens of his, and he has said that he thinks that too much onus is placed on individuals in tackling climate change rather than action by companies and governments. And I guess seeing as we both work for companies,
Yeah.
I thought it'd be worth talking about this a little bit. And he's kind of developing this narrative that's less about individual action, which I think is fair enough.
Yeah.
And talking about large scale systematic problems around like capitalist structures and the like.
Music to my ears.
Which, I do agree. I think there's a lot for business and politics to do.
Yeah. The thing I always think with individual action is I agree it is important. The actions of individuals add up to a greater movement, and that is important. And there are like no-brainer things that we should be doing that support more sustainable society and economy. However, I will always go back to the idea of the carbon footprint being created by British Petroleum.
I know.
And that being a marketing campaign to put the onus on the individuals to use less oil and gas.
And that they knew what impact they were, like, it's been proven that they knew the impact that they were having on the planet long before the public did.
Yeah.
Long before it came into public consciousness.
Yeah.
Which I do agree with. I think like the system is built for them to succeed and to make money. And like, as much as I do agree with Zach that the structures we live in don't work for the climate, we do live in a capitalist structure. I am maybe a bit cynical that we are going to completely overhaul the way the economic system is set up.
That's fair.
And completely reinvent how the economy functions. I think to some extent we need to figure out how to map sustainability onto profitability.
Yeah.
And there is a bit of work for sustainability practitioners to do to build financial metrics into the work that we do and have those conversations more easily. I think if we are going to try and overhaul the whole system, we're not going to do that in 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, like we're not going to get there quick enough. I think we need to start working a bit more within the system that we're in, but maybe that's a bit cynical.
No, I don't think it's cynical. I think it's like I think it's just realistic. Like I do think that some industries are going to completely overhaul in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And some aren't. I think the thing that I always struggle a little bit with like the individual action argument is that it's like it's not a choice between either government or business or individuals. It's going to take all of us and like every category of influencer to make that change, rather than just being like it's just individual action or it's just businesses who need to lead the way or it's just government policy. Like they are all enablers of progress with one another. Like the government will respond to like outcries from society. So if people are passionate about certain like societal changes that need to happen, like that can create a momentum that can then feed into a policy and legislative environment. businesses often follow the government in terms of what they are required to do. And I think people need to be honest about that as well. Like a lot of the good green things that businesses do are done because they are required to do so. As much as like people want to be a bit like evangelical about being good and green, a lot of it is regulation now, and you have to report on certain things, and then you need to start like measuring your impact on the environment and actioning that. So they
I
all just like fit into each other,
agree.
don't
And I
they?
think like also on that, consumers will move if pushed by government. So thinking about things like smoking bans, where like, you know, the government was lobbied from a health perspective that smoking is bad and causes cancer. Therefore, you're putting regulation in place to make it harder to buy, harder to do the activity. So
Yeah,
as much as consumers push government, government also pushes individuals and consumers
yeah,
to change. So like
yeah.
carrot versus stick, bans versus incentives. That is, it's like a cycle.
Carrot
And then
versus stick.
similarly with businesses, like businesses will lobby governments, and every now and then governments will listen depending on how loud it is.
Mm,
So it's like this is, I think, the scary thing is that it's not a cycle where like one pushes the other pushes the other.
mm.
It's this like weird messy amalgamation where everything needs to move exactly at the same time,
Yeah, for it to work.
exactly together for it to work,
Mm,
and it's going
mm-hmm.
to be this like crazy alchemy of
The
the
alchemy.
alchemy Taylor Swift reference. There will be many of those. Um, but there has to be this like crazy alchemy in it of everyone going together,
Yeah.
and, like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, "Fuck." Like, how is that gonna happen? Like, how are all of these parts gonna move at the same
I
time?
think it just is unimaginable until it isn't,
Yeah.
you know?
Like, I guess, like, the example that's always thrown up is, like, the internet.
Yeah.
Like, that revolutionized the world. But, yeah, I think I think we agree.
Yeah.
Like, individual action, A, is important and can only take it so far
Mm,
and is exhausting.
yeah.
Companies and governments need to do more, but everyone needs to move together.
Yeah.
Love it. One other thing from this op-ed that I thought was really interesting was that there's been a bit of criticism, which he acknowledges, about has he moved away too much from environmental language, environmental
Yes.
chat?
Also, like the Greens more broadly,
Yes, is he moving the party away from green?
what they were. Yeah.
Which I think is really interesting because
Yeah.
a lot of his messaging is really led by like cost of living, household bills.
Mm-hmm.
That tends to be how he opens and how he hooks, but
Mm-hmm.
he does always bring it back to climate,
Yeah.
which I think is obviously important. I don't know, what do you think?
I just think that like climate underpins all of those issues. And because they're the undercurrent, I think it's not necessarily a bad move to not focus on that first, like at the forefront of the messaging. I don't think that the Greens messaging in the past, where it has focused on those issues, has been as successful as the messaging that's coming out now has been. And it's something that we even see like in our workplace. Like customers always really still care about the climate crisis and sustainability, but there are just like competing priorities, and it's pretty shit for everyone at the minute. You know, like everything's expensive. The world is on like the brink of collapse. Like there are just like bigger fish to fry for the majority of people. So while they still care about it, I think that they do care about other things more because they're more like prominent, immediate issues that need to be tackled.
Yeah, and I think like if the action is the same, does it matter what people's motives are? I would argue no.
Yeah.
If you're still gonna take an action that makes your home more efficient because it saves you money,
Mm.
therefore also saves carbon because using less energy,
Yeah.
does it matter if you've done it because it saves you money and not because you care about the planet if you're doing
Yeah.
the same thing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think so.
I also just think that the people who will have made lifestyle and like home and like whatever changes to be more sustainable would have done it by now if that was the only argument that it could be won on. So those people, we've made the argument to them, they've understood it, they've engaged in it, and they've made changes if they're able to. But then mass market isn't going to be led by just that one argument. It's going to have to be broader for them.
100%.
So I think that it's actually really clever to not lead with that messaging, especially now. And there might be like a resurgence back to the golden era of 2018, 2019, where we can start leading with those sort of stuff again. But just in terms of like where the world is now, I think it is clever to not lead with that kind of messaging.
I agree, and I think this is why he has been so successful
Yeah.
is because you bring in a bigger audience. I think traditionally the Greens have been thought of as a bit of like, ooh, they're like the fluffy party and you'll vote for them if you like the planet, but they won't do anything proper on politics.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's a big reputation for Zac to shrug off.
Mm,
But I agree. I think like these things are all interlinked. Cost of living, health, like all of it's linked to climate.
mm.
All of it's impacted by climate. And if you can bridge those narratives or even bridge the action with a different narrative, more power to you.
Yeah, more power to you.
Power to you.
Deck.
Derek.
Deck
Dirk.
Zbabanski.
Dirk.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's a good segue as well. Speaking of reputations to shrug off,
Mm.
to the Rest is Politics episode that we kind of touched
Oh,
on.
yeah. So I actually really like the leading episodes. I think it's nice to like have a bit of a deep dive. I really liked the episode. I thought it came across well. I thought Rory was also right to like push him on the things that he did push him on. So for those who haven't listened to the episode, Rory Stewart gave him like I don't really think he gave him that hard of a time, but he just asked for a lot of facts and figures that Zac couldn't quite get right. It was a bit like, oh, when someone's doing a presentation and they're doing really well, and then someone starts asking
And the Q&A happens.
the Q&A happens, and then they're like, oh, it's falling apart a bit here.
Yes. Yes. I like that's exactly how I felt listening to it.
Yeah. Like all the things he'd prepped for were fine and like really slick.
Yeah.
And
like I felt the feeling of like when you've done a presentation and someone's asked you, like I felt that secondhand, like not embarrassment. It wasn't
like,
embarrassing, but like nervousness.
Like you should have known that. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, yeah, I think I agree. Overall, really loved the episode. But yeah, it was really interesting to like see the vibe change when it moved on to more like the economy, the budget, the deficit.
Mm.
And I do think this is a bit of it also is where Labour falls down. I just think the left in general tends to fall down and is not seen as a leader in economics. It's not seen as a leader for business. It's not seen as like parties that can do like stringent economic policy. Like that is a reputation I think that's very much like owned by the Conservative Party.
Yeah.
Rightly or wrongly, I would argue wrongly, given the Liz Truss of it all. But I think it did just make me feel a bit like, oh,
yeah,
like sustainability is always criticized as like it's too expensive or it's unrealistic or it's a degrowth mission. And I think not being able to know certain facts about what a deficit is versus what a budget deficit versus debt, that was it, what the deficit is versus debt.
Yeah.
I also don't really know what that is, but
You're
I'm
not the leader
of a
yeah.
political party,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
And it did just feel a bit like
you've just got to have a cheat sheet.
Ooh.
You've got to have those numbers
Yeah.
like ready to go. And I think this is often where like campaigns fall down as well, is like the sound bite of the campaign is really good and catchy and people get it, and then once you start looking into like 2 layers of detail below that, it starts to fall down. And it's like, oh right, well if you haven't actually thought through how this is going to work.
I do think he made a good point that like this interview, I think he called it an evergreen interview, like it isn't time stamped in that they'll record them before they go out and it will be on a podcast forever, and people might come to it like a year after it's been recorded. So putting out figures about the economy and about how much things cost, they won't be factual in a month.
Yeah.
So I do agree with that. I think that's a fair point. And I also think it's a fair point that they're not in an election cycle. So he's not like costing up a manifesto because he's not having to defend that. And I think all of those are very valid points. And I think sometimes, again, like the left is put on a pedestal that the right maybe isn't. Like agree or disagree with me on that, but I think particularly on the economy, because there's that lack of trust, they'll be put on this pedestal where like they won't know one thing, and it's like, you fools, you know nothing about money. All you want to do is destroy capitalism and tax the rich and stop us using our private jets. And I think that so sometimes it's just they like get torn down too quickly.
Whereas like on the other side, we have like case in point examples of where those things have gone wrong in the past. Let's ask where the 350 million a week for the NHS is.
Donde Esther.
Donde Esther.
But yeah, I just think there's a lesson to be learnt there.
Yeah.
for the left more broadly and also for sustainability, that like if we're gonna win everyone over, we
Mhm.
need to be able to like speak the language
Substantiate it as
of
well.
business,
Yeah.
exactly, like speak the language of commercial people, of finance people, of economists and
Investors.
investors. And
Yeah.
it does add up. There are numbers that add up, like it does.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think people rely too heavily on the regulation or like the reputation angle or it's
I
the right
know.
thing to do.
I think as well with like costing it is that the investment that's required is almost like something that you can imagine having to find a pot of cash to invest in something for. Whereas the avoided cost of actioning this, because that's an avoided cost, it doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
It's like money that you haven't spent or could spend on other, like
Yeah.
it just feels different, doesn't it?
Yeah. But yeah,
100%.
I thought good interview. It
It
was
was,
interesting.
yeah, just from like having the opportunity to see him speak live, I think he is better in like short form, more like a rallying, like I guess how like politicians were a bit more back in the day where this longer form of content didn't really exist.
Mm.
Like he is good at a sound bite and he is good at like a short, sharp rallying cry speech
Yeah,
that
it's a
like
good
gets
point.
people feeling hopeful about things. Whereas yeah, I guess the longer form podcast like format is a bit more
Yeah.
challenging to get into. But I think it's good that our political leaders like have to go through that kind of thing too.
Also, no one's perfect.
Talking of perfect, should we talk about the Green Party?
Yeah, Green Party party.
Oh my god, so I had not seen that this had happened and Ella just told me about it before we started recording, but what the heck? I can't believe that we didn't know about this and didn't go. I'm so
Why weren't we
annoyed.
personally invited?
So on Sunday, the 25th of January, like I would be happy to go out on a Sunday. Zac Polanski and the Green Party of England and Wales throw a throw
Throw.
throw through a club night in London in queer venue
Oh my
Heaven.
god, heaven.
5 p.m. till midnight. Do you know what? It's not too late on a Sunday.
No, it's quite good.
Yeah, I would do that and I'd be home.
100%.
Good time. They said that they were doing it because they want to protect our nightlife and culture scene by investing in arts and culture events. Protect our nightlife and culture scene. That is something I can get on board with. Like, so they threw a little club night.
I love that.
Again, do you know what? Just different. Like, I feel like that's what's so good about their messaging and like their events and their campaigning. Like, can you imagine if Keir Starmer threw a club
Well,
night?
I was going to say, I just don't know if many other people could get away with it. I think
Yeah.
they're probably the only party that could get away with it.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine?
Keir Starmer tried to do that 6-7 thing.
Oh,
Have
God.
you seen that?
Yeah.
I saw something on LinkedIn the other day that he like was in Scotland and there was this like candid photo of him and it just had like a can of iron brew and like I think like tea cakes or something like on, on the table next to him and it was like, oh my god.
Oh.
And he's like, I understand the Scots. And it was like, you're literally like
no.
making us the biggest cliche ever.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm sad. I like next time you have a Green Party
We'll
in
turn
Heaven,
up.
let me know because I will be there. That sounds so fun.
Oh, I love it. No, I agree. I think it's just like, it's just different. It's fun. It's engaging.
Yeah.
It's just not boring. And everyone's just so bored.
I'm so bloody bored.
So bored. So we're going to go through some of the policies and say whether we think they are slay or whether they are nay. And then I
Okay.
think we need to say a little bit about why. So we can just do a few.
Okay. Let's start with providing fairer, greener homes for all.
Okay.
They've said everyone needs a warm and secure and affordable home, yet millions of people don't have this most basic building block for a happy and successful life. Only 1 million households are on the council waiting list and more than 130,000 children are growing up in temporary accommodation. Our Right Homes, Right Place, Right Price charter. So that charter looks at protecting valuable green space for communities, reducing climate emissions, tackling fuel poverty, and providing genuinely affordable housing.
I mean, slay.
Slay.
In principle.
Yeah.
Like, I think that my recurring theme here might be 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean in reality and how are you going to do it? But I given that we're not in a general election and this is not a manifesto, maybe that's unfair. But
Maybe I'm reading the wrong bits of the website, because it then goes on to say the charter would require local authorities to spread small developments across their areas. It would require all new developments to be accompanied by the extra investment needed in local health, transport and other services.
Oh, slay.
And ensure that all new homes meet passive house or equivalent standards in house builders, to include solar panels and heat pumps to all new homes where appropriate.
Slay. I mean, I can't believe that it's not mandated that all new homes have a heat pump, solar and an EV charger. Like, that's bonkers.
Yeah, we need to get on the future home standard.
we do.
ASAP Rocky.
But slay.
Okay. Another aspect of the greener homes for all is our fairer, greener homes guarantee. Our energy bills are far too high because of we have the worst insulated homes in Europe. Don't we know it, Zach? Like, I feel like I'm cold all the time. We would bring down bills by reducing the loss of heat from homes, because the cheapest bill is the one you don't have to pay.
Oh.
Very nice. They would push for local authority-led street-by-street retrofit program.
Slay.
This would mean investment of 29 billion Great British pounds.
You're going to say dollars then, weren't you? I could see the D forming in you. I could see you be like, 8 billion British pounds.
Honestly, billion just makes me think billions and billions of dollars. $29 billion over the next 5 years. Oh, pounds, sorry. Oh my God. I got dollars on the mind. 29 billion pounds over the next 5 years to insulate homes to an EPC B or above.
Oh wow, slay.
4 billion to insulate other buildings.
I love that. The cheapest bill is the bill you don't have to pay.
Yeah, that's
leakiest homes in Europe. That is a good line.
Yeah, it's good.
That is a good line. Slay.
And then 9 billion for low carbon heating systems, heat pumps.
Slay.
Don't you
is
know?
9 billion enough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Warm Homes plans 4 billion.
Okay. Fine.
So I reckon it's pretty good. I feel like it's big slay. Okay, this is quite a short one. So they've said we want to better protect animals and their habitats by pushing for the creation of a new commission on animal protection, a ban on all blood sports, including trail hunting, all UK domestic and overseas territorial waters to offer the highest level of protection to marine life. Slay. End to badger culling. Are people still doing that?
Think so.
What the fuck? An end to why?
Oh, I have no idea.
Are they like vermin? Like, are they? Well, are they like
there too many of
classified?
them? Have you ever seen a badger?
Yeah, they move quick.
They're big.
Yeah, speedy boys. Yeah, my sister's house in Manchester. She lives like near Isha Park, like on the outskirts of Manchester, and we were like walking up to her house, and I just like saw this little, to be fair, cute badger like hop, skipping, and jumping down the street.
Oh,
it was sweet. An end to factory farming, enforcement of maximum stocking densities, and no routine of use of antibiotics in farm animals. A complete ban on closed confinement in cages and deliberate and unnecessary mutilation of farm animals. You know what? This feels like what I think people think the Green Party is about.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels very Green Party of old.
Yeah. I mean, like big slay on marine protection areas. Shout out David Attenborough's Ocean documentary, because that traumatized me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The trawling, the bottom sea trawling. So slay on that. Love. Love, love, love.
Should we do a fairer, greener education system?
Yeah.
Okay. So they've said education should be about inspiring a love of learning and ensuring that every young person can reach their potential. Yet too many children are failing to thrive in an education system that operates like a production line rather than valuing their individual qualities. An investment in the next generation is the most important investment we can make. So they will champion an increase in school funding of $8 billion to include $2 billion of pay uplift for teachers. Yes, there. Teachers underpaid.
100%. That is a hard job.
That's not a job
I could not do it. Having spent an hour last week in my old sixth form with some 17-year-olds, more power to you, babes.
Yeah.
I do not know how you do it.
Did they like think you were really cool?
I could not tell you.
Oh, fine.
Yeah, it was like I was like trying to, be engaging and ask like some questions. I got nothing.
Really, you're so engaging.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought I'm a good cracking time. I was cracking some jokes.
They probably thought you weren't cool.
I know, they were probably like, fuck, she's so annoying.
Oh, that's so sad.
But honestly, I was like, teenagers are scary.
Yeah, they are scary.
And more power to anyone who teaches teenagers.
Yeah. Also, more
So-
power to teenagers because that is not a fun time.
No, God, it's a terrible time. But yeah, big up teachers, big up teenagers.
Ooh. Another thing that they've pledged is supporting every higher education student with the restoration of grants and the end of tuition fees. Hello, Zach. Am I getting a refund? That's what I want to know.
A refund.
And then it also says ending high stakes testing at primary, secondary schools and abolishing Ofsted. Fucking hell.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't know. I think there should be like some.
There needs to be some sort
so-
of like governance body.
Do they have anything in there about adding climate to the curriculum?
No, babe.
That's my only nay here. I think, Zach, why are we not talking about embedding sustainability within the curriculum? Start them young. But overall, a slay.
Yeah. It sounds fair,
Does it?
which is the word that I think they've centered a lot of their manifesto pledges
Interesting.
around. But that was fun.
That was fun.
I agree.
But yeah, good chat.
Good chat. I'm feeling positive again.
Me too.
Oh,
that was a good one.
yay.
That was a good positive one.
That was a good one. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Like, follow, subscribe. We're on Spotify now.
We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts,
Are we?
Google Podcasts, wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
But this has been so fun, and
It's been really good.
it's achieved the objective of trying to feel positive about things. So thank you for that, gal.
Thank you. Signing off.